What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 34 of Overhand Right Radio. It's Jason Nicole back in the booth, back in the studio, getting ready to tee off another episode talking about MMA. And of course, we're going to recap what happened at UFC FOX28, which I thought was a phenomenal Fox card for live 3 fights. I thought that was great. A lot of good finishes and great fights in that one. We're going to preview UFC 222. Of course, that about a month ago, a lot of fights have been changed. A lot of fights have been added and removed for that, but overall, I think that's a pretty good pay-per-view, worth your buy. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Brock. And of course, Dana posted that picture. We're going to talk a little bit about the 155 division, which is always a discussion. And we're going to talk a little bit more news and rumors like that. But first, let's dive into Fox 28, like I mentioned, man. Because, like I said, I really think this is one of the better Fox cards of that we've seen in the recent memory for free TV. It was awesome, but when I was on MMA Junkie Radio today, I was talking about Ronda Rousey and WWE and MMA, how it's going to mix. Big wrestling fans, as you guys probably already know, me and Cole are. But someone posed the question to them when I was waiting for my segment that, you know what, Renan Barão, like what happened to him? Because, of course, he suffered another decision loss, 30-27 and 29-28, unanimous decision across the board. A question for you, Cole, because I tried to think about it, and I was thinking about putting this Renan Barão on my parlay too. But man, like at one time, like he was considered to be like maybe the best fighter on the planet, or top 2, top 3, maybe right behind John Jones at that time. But ever since TJ Dillashaw, this guy's just been racking up losses. You know what? Like lost to Jeremy Stevens, TJ Dillashaw. Beat some guys, but those big fights, he hasn't been able to get it done. Why do you think that is, man? Because, like I said, at one point, this guy was racking off wins. Had, one loss in his career, 32-1 with 1 no contest. Beat Uriah Faber, Michael McDonald, Eddie Wineland, racking up the wins, looking unstoppable. Now here he is, and he's on 2-fight skid, and can't put 2 wins together.
I think it's 2 things. One, I think it's. You've seen Renan Barão's had a lot of fights. He's been in a lot of wars and stuff like that. You almost saw the same thing with Junior after the Kane fights, right? And the Barão Dillashaw was sort of like the Kane Junior fights, where Junior got hit a lot. He took a lot of punches. Barão, same thing when he versus Dillashaw. So one thinking is okay. He looks a little like he can't take the punches well. The second thing is, I think TJ kind of wrote the blueprint on how to beat him. Now, I'm not saying the guys are being Barão right now can do the things TJ Dillashaw can do, but I think he kind of wrote. Sometimes you see that. You saw that with Machida, right? No one can figure out the style. And then I forget who was the first. Maybe it was Shogun.
Shogun.
Shogun was the first guy to kind of present a style to Machida where Machida was very, I want to say, more ineffective than his usual efficient self.
They fought twice, and the second one was a knockout.
Right.
First one was
and then you saw people kind of almost imitating that a bit. Still running their style, but sort of imitating that. And that's where I think that's what Barão's thinking. I think it's a mixture of those two. I think he's been in a lot of wars. I think there's a blueprint out on him. And I feel like the game's evolving maybe, and the new guys are coming up, and he hasn't. That'd be my take.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I just think that he had a blueprint. He was really good striking, phenomenal, flashy striking, and people just kind of know how to beat him. I think back in when he was racking up those victories, he was always the aggressor, kind of. He would never be pushed back. And then we saw with the TJ blueprint, and then especially with the Jeremy Stevens fight that he had, he was always getting pushed back. He's not a good backwards fighter, and I think that has to do something with it. But you kind of hit the nail on the head. But I just food for thought. I was just thinking about that, and I was like, man, you know what? Hopefully he can get back on the winning track. I think he will. He's in a really tough division. But I think he's going to get back on track. But just, man, this was a fight where he could have won and put his name up against, if he won this, against another good guy, against a top 10 guy. But just fell short. Another unanimous decision.
It just seems like he's getting hit a lot more. Right? When he was on that run, he wasn't like there weren't a lot of guys landing clean, beautiful shots on him that were rocking him. Now when you watch him fight, he gets wobbled in almost every fight now. And I don't know if that's okay. Your chin's going, but the chin's going is getting hit. It's not the reason why you get hit. The reason why you get hit is technique. It's a technical aspect, and I think for some reason, I mean, I'd have to sit down and watch all the fights and tell you the exact technical aspect of why he's getting hit. But it just seems to me when I watch fights, and I'm like, the guy with the belt. And the guy right now, he seems to just be getting hit a lot more, right? So,
yeah, I think a lot of those times too. Like he was fat. He was a faster fighter than Uriah Faber. He was faster than Michael McDonald, faster than Eddie Wineland. TJ beat him to the punch, and I think that's what's happening a lot too. Is he's dealing with a lot more faster guys, and it's hard when people can match your speed, but that might just have to do about the breed of fighters that are coming up. Just food for thought. Just thinking about it, that was like, man, you know what? That's true. Like Henry Rao, he's just, hopefully he gets back on the winning track. Great fighter, great record, long history. 34-6. That's not a bad record. It just lately 2 losses, 1 win, 2 losses, 1 win. And that's kind of. That's not a good track record for getting back.
He's going to need to reinvent himself a little bit. A lot of, sometimes guys have to do that. Look at Andre, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. He's on UFC 222. There was a point where, I mean, he was getting smashed by like heavyweights. And he had to reinvent himself. He went to Jackson's. He worked on his base primary skills, and he was like knocking out dudes and making a run in the UFC. I mean, he fought for a number 1 contender shot at one point on this run when people have basically left his career for dead. I mean, so I think Barao kind of has to do the same thing, reinvent himself. Frank's done it to a certain point. There's lots of fighters who have done it. I think he's at that stage where he now has to reinvent himself. So,
yeah, I would have to agree. But let's move on to the main card. Of course, he was on the prelim, but I would have to agree. Go back and maybe look at some people that were able to refresh their careers and maybe take some notes that way. But let's talk about the Mike Perry-Max Griffin fight, man, because Max Griffin was the biggest underdog leading into this. And we both said, hey, we think Mike Perry's going to do this. Max Griffin, not a lot of experience against top guys. Mike Perry is, coming in hyped. But Max Griffin, I thought, had the perfect game plan. You could kind of tell in the first round, I knew I was going to have to, eat my words and kind of retract my statement of me thinking Mike Perry's going to run away with this and get a knockout. But Max Griffin did a beautiful thing, and DC mentioned it a couple times on commentary. He was on his bicycle, and what that means is he's going back and forth, and he's making Mike Perry work. Mike Perry was doing a lot of things. He was loading up with the shots. He was looking for that one-punch KO. And you saw multiple times where Max Griffin would just pop that jab, and that would interrupt Mike Perry searching for that right hand. And you could kind of tell the first 3 punches Mike Perry threw, 2 of them were strong overhand rights, looking, to knock him out of the park. But Max Griffin had the right game plan. Footwork, moving away from that, the power right hand, moving to the left a lot. And he would move, stop, throw jab, and set up his shots from there. I thought he did a beautiful job of making Mike Perry uncomfortable and not getting into a slugfest. Don't get into the Mike Perry realm. And he said after, look, I thought Mike Perry was slow. I knew I could be faster. I just did what I needed to do to get the W. I thought his footwork on the outside was phenomenal. That's what more people need to do that are outside fighters. And his jab was just on tee, and that kind of won him the fight. When it comes to scorecards, I don't really agree with, I think maybe Bruce Buffer messed up. I think, no, 29-27. I don't agree with that. I don't think 29-27 was a just
I don't think there was
scorecard. Yeah, I don't have to agree with that. But beyond the fact, Max Griffin won that fight with footwork. That jab was lethal. Did a good job mixing in some low kicks as well. And Mike Perry, 2 losses in a row. You're really hyped in the division. Just talk about the performance of Max Griffin, and then we'll talk about the future of Mike Perry.
Well, let's talk about Mike Perry first of all.
Okay, go for it.
He's now got 2 losses. And both guys, Santiago Ponzinibbio and Max Griffin, they've both beat him the same way, right? And so, okay, how is that? Well, jab, distance, movement, right? Because let's be honest, Mike Perry, if you stand in front of him, chances are that he knocks you out very high, very, very high. He's now lost to two guys who have done the same game plan to him. And why he lost this fight was, I think, twofold. I think he lost it on his part, and he lost it because Max Griffin did such a good job on his part. What did Max Griffin do? He took the same booklet. I mean, he took the same answer sheet, wrote the same tests as Santiago Ponzinibbio. Stay on the outside, jab, front kick, movement. Don't stand in front of Perry. Don't let him load up on his shots.
I think, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
It was the same thing. And then the flip side is Perry just looked, well, in the first two rounds, I should say, he looked hesitant. Like, you're the brawler. Get inside. Get going. Swing. Mm-hmm. Right? You saw in the third round when Mike Perry started to go a little wild, started to cut angles, started to get in range. Max Griffin all of a sudden didn't look like the comfortable guy on the outside that he did in the first two rounds.
In the third round when Mike Perry actually went forward pressure, and see, the thing was,
but it's too late at that point.
I agree with that, and the late takedown. When he tried for that late takedown after hurting Max Griffin once or twice. I don't understand that. I'll never understand why fighters that are down the scorecard, when they're teeing a guy up, go for a late takedown with a minute left. I'll never understand that, especially when you rock him twice.
You don't know what the corner said to him. I mean, his brain might be a little scrambled.
That's true. It's tough sitting on the couch watching, analyzing the fight than being in it. I would have to agree with that.
Because I think if the fighter watches that replay, I think most fighters, if they go for that late takedown where you're like, they need the knockout, what are they doing? If you sat them down 24 hours after, they'd probably say the same thing. Like, yeah, I don't know what I was really doing there. Unless Perry felt like he could get him down and submit him. Because there are some guys who it's the last round. I'm probably not going to knock this guy out. Maybe I could get the submission. I understand that. Which in the first round, actually, Perry did mount him. So maybe he did feel like, hey, if I take him in the third, I can get that same position.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He did, to finish off the first round, he did mount him.
So maybe he thought, hey, this stand-up's not going really well. Let's try this.
You mentioned Ponzinibbio had a game plan. I think Max Griffin, I should say, took that game plan and did it better than Ponzinibbio did. Because Ponzinibbio, through all three rounds, got hit a lot. Right? He won the fight, but he got hit a lot. Max Griffin just got kind of teed up in the third round. But for the first and second, I thought he executed that game plan a lot more. And just to say this, you kind of look at the styles that Mike Perry has his three losses to. Max Griffin, long, tall striker. Ponzinibbio, long, tall striker. Alan Jouban, who also fought on this card and got a knockout over Ben Sanders, but he versed Mike Perry in December 2016. Long, tall striker. So Mike Perry does have kind of a problem with this. I think Mike Perry just needs to look. You have the power. I think he needs to become more technical. And what I mean by that is, yes, you have the power, but you got to string it together. You got to work on just not looking for the right hand. He looks for the right hand too much in the power shot instead of working on his technical boxing and then waiting for the knockout to come to him. He's searching for it, I feel like, too much in his fights. Well, that may work against Alex Reyes, who's a new guy in the UFC, but when you're versing Ponzinibbio and Max Griffin and, other guys, it's going to be a lot harder to just cock the right hand and throw it without setting it up and giving other looks, and he didn't do that in the first and second round.
It's the thing that you just hit it almost. I mean, why do I not like Roy Nelson striking? Because it's a one punch combo. Right? Max Perry needs to learn to get inside, and he needs to be a brawler with technique. And what does this mean? That means playing the distance game you played against Max Griffin, horrible game plan. He'll never win that. He'll never win that type of fight. You need to get inside. You need to take one to give one. if you want to find the right hand, you need to set it up. How do you set it up? Well, double jab, combinations, right? Listen, if anyone goes in that ring and say, hey, I'm just going to throw this right overhand hook, nothing else, it's so easy to defend. Now if I say, okay, now we're going to go in there, and I'm going to use both my hands, I'm going to throw uppercuts, jabs, hooks, counter lefts, counter rights, check hooks. Wow, that's a lot more to deal with. And if they come in combination, even harder. Perry he kept that distance. He stayed on the outside. He looked for the big shot. He needs to learn how to be the technical brawler. And he also needs to learn how to deal with these style of guys. Because these guys are the same style. They're doing the same thing. If you can learn how to deal with that style, good. But you also learn how you affect how that style works on you. Right? It's not like, well, that style beats me. What am I going to do? No. You can affect that. All of the guys that beat you did not want to be in front of you. Did not want to be angled off by you. None of them. Right? The minute Max Griffin sort of got on the fence and felt like he was cornered, he was moving fast out of there. He did not want to be there. Same with the Santiago one. He didn't really want to stand in the pocket with you. Learn how to cut off the cage properly. Like, I'm not saying you're doing a bad job now. I'm saying if you can excel those techniques in your game, you'll be able to deal with these guys easier and then play into your advantages, right? Because what happened in this Max Griffin fight is Max Griffin said, I have advantages and Perry has disadvantages. And Max Griffin's advantages were play to, and so were Perry's disadvantages. And when you have that, how are you supposed to win, right? It's my knock on Stefan Struve. Right, I know a lot of people have the same knock on Stefan Struve. Use your length. It's God-given. Use it. That's your advantage. Why wouldn't you go to it? It's the same thing. Perry, you need to play into your strengths and know how to verse these different guys. Because there's a blueprint on you. And you got to learn how to now beat that blueprint. So,
yeah, I would have to agree. You kind of hit the nail on the head right there.
Very similar to Brow. Go back. Reinvent how you beat these guys. Reinvent your game plan.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Perry and this man, he's got to bounce back because there's a lot of tall, long strikers that can punch just as hard as you right now in this division. So, you know what? I go back to the drawing board. He did have cardio issues in his last fight, and he fixed this one, so that's not an issue. So I really shouldn't say, hey, he can't fix this issue, because every time he loses, he seems like he knows what he needs to do to fix it, and he does it. So hopefully next time he comes out, and he'll be able to fix this situation. But Max Griffin, beautiful win, great game plan. I think he's got a future in this division. It's already stacked of young contenders. Maybe he can throw his name throw his hat into the name pile on that one.
I don't know if I was necessarily super impressed with Max Griffin.
I was. I
was more.
I thought the game plan he executed was phenomenal.
Yeah. I was more disappointed in Perry.
I can see why you're saying.
And not from a hyped position. Oh, he's like they're hyping him. Oh, he would let you down. More from a position of technique. Like you just didn't put yourself in good positions, and Perry, you're probably the better fighter, even though you lost, right? Listen, two guys can fight, and the better fighter sometimes can lose, right? Based on what happens. Do they have a game plan? Listen, if GSP goes into a fight and doesn't wrestle, doesn't follow his game plan, he might not win that fight, right? So,
yeah. I thought Max Griffin had a good performance weekend.
No, I think it was good, but I was more let down by Perry's technical fight, the technical fight he presented.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next fight, Cole, and you will have to. Your head's down right now. You're trying not to laugh because you owe another apology to Mr. Eli Latifi. And you know what?
I gave him a 15%.
You also said he had no chance.
No, I said 15%.
And we argued about this, and I had to end the conversation.
Hold up. You have to admit, who picked him by sub?
Not by sub.
I mean, come on.
But to my credit, and you got to give me credit on this, I said, okay, OSP has the reach. OSP wants, and he was doing a good job of making it, okay, you're going to stick on the end of my jab. But the only thing is, Ilir Latifi went, crap, I'm shorter. You know what? I don't want to play this reach game. And he did a good job of blitzing OSP and making him back up. He got inside the range of OSP and landed that left hook that eventually rocked him, and the sub just came after it because his neck was there and OSP was rocked. But I did say Ilir Latifi has the power, if he can get inside with blitzes, that he can actually rock and put OSP to sleep. He didn't put him to sleep, but he rocked him. That set up the guillotine choke, which was that guillotine choke, man. That was like John Jones Machida throwback. Like, you have the guy up, he goes off, the ref stops and he falls. Those are nasty as hell. But
this is a clear fight where I was more disappointed in OSP's performance than Latifi's win. I mean,
really? For me,
What did Latifi do that was just amazing?
Nothing.
He was losing. Didn't even use his strength on him.
I agree.
As far as wrestling,
I agree. But here's the thing I look at: OSP was winning the majority of the fight because he was executing his game plan.
It was alright.
I understand I understand, but he was winning the majority of the fight. What ended up happening was Ilir Latifi went, "Hey, I'm sitting on the end of the jab all day. But I'm eating these shots. I gotta go." And he showed that he has power and that he has. Of course, we know his wrestling ability and his strength.
Stood there and blitzed.
Yeah,
stood there and blitzed.
But
this happened maybe 3 or 4 times, and OSP every time would just back up, throw a counter. What are you doing?
I would have to agree, but.
He's not going to stop doing this unless you make him.
Well, Latifi realized that he can't sit on the end of the jab like a lot of fighters do. He's going to say, hey, I got to eat one. If I want a chance of winning the stand-up war, even if I want a chance to takedown, I'm going to have to blitz him, hit him with a shot, drop down, double leg, whatever it may be. And he realized that, and he just went for it, and it ended up working out for him. Am I a little bit disappointed with OSP over St. Preux and his defense when Latifi was rushing in?
He didn't even throw the right hand. Like, it was there. That straight right hand was there. And he just didn't throw it.
He was a little bit tentative, but you got to admit, Ilir Latifi proved you wrong. Are you going to doubt Ilir Latifi going in his next fight?
Yeah.
God, you son of a...
Probably, because he just beat OSP. So that means his next fight's going to be who?
Well, if you look at the rankings, and you should not doubt him, by the way. Oh my gosh, you're still on this train. Ilir Latifi's the updated rankings haven't come in, but OSP was 5, Latifi was 8. He's going to jump into the top 5.
That's ridiculous.
So you got, he's probably not going to fight Jimmy Manuel because they have a history. You got Glover Teixeira, and he's probably the favorite over Teixeira if he's fighting Teixeira, in my personal opinion. Think about that one. That's just me. That's just me.
No, I don't think so.
But do you give him more than 15% chance, Cole? Yeah. Look.
I'll give him 20.
Ilir Latifi showed off his wrestling ability against Tyson Pedro, which he did a very good job.
That was...
He ragdolled Tyson Pedro, and now he's showing that he has power as well. You know what?
I always knew he had power and strength, but I mean, OSP just did a really, really bad job in keeping him on the outside.
Yeah, I would have to agree. When Latifi was rushing in, his defense wasn't good enough of protecting himself.
His defense was to back up.
Yeah, which doesn't really work.
Well, I mean, it works, but...
Well, not when you have Ilir Latifi blitzing at you throwing combos.
I mean, if you're just backing up, what's stopping from... What's making Latifi going... you have to make Latifi think, man, I don't want to blitz like this anymore. Right? You gotta hit, you gotta throw something. Listen, being gun shy in the UFC is not a good game plan. It's not. Now, I'm not saying being a brawler, but if some guy's doing something to you, affecting you over and over and over and over and over again, you might want to think about doing something to stop that. If some guy's taking you down over and over and over, like the Curtis Blades Mark Hunt, in the third round. Mark Hunt, your hands should be by your ankles. Remember we watched that fight together? And I said Curtis Blades won't throw a jab. He won't head bob him. He won't throw a fake shoulder. He's gonna shoot straight for the double. And what does Mark Hunt do? He throws an overhand, doesn't protect himself, and gets a takedown. Well, what do you think Latifi's gonna keep doing if you don't stop him? Well, he's gonna keep doing it. And one punch finally landed. Rocked in St. Preux. He basically fell into the guillotine. So.
Well, he was so rocked he wasn't coherent enough to even fight the guillotine correctly.
Yeah, and Latifi's a strong guy.
Yeah. You gotta give Latifi credit. That was one hell of a win. That was one hell of a win to jump him up in the top 5.
I'll give him credit because he did outstrike him and sub him, which was like the last thing I thought was going to happen. I gave him the 15% because I thought, man, if he takes OSP down, he could probably ground and pound him a bit. But didn't have him winning that way. That's for damn sure.
He didn't even need that, Cole. Ili Latifi, your next champ. I don't know about that. But he's in the top 5, and I think he matches up a low fit.
Jimmy Manawa, Glover, anyone in that top 5 would beat him.
No.
Are you, Jason? Go to the top 5. Go to the top 5.
No. You're 100% wrong on that, dude.
I'm 100% right.
Okay, Jimmy Manuel, maybe, but they've been friends. They've been training partners for a little bit.
Glover would KO him.
No way.
Because Glover actually has takedowns. He's not going to be worried about the wrestling.
I have Ili Latifi over Glover if they fight.
Dude.
And Volkan Ozdemir, that's a toss-up. He's not going to fight Gustafsson, obviously. They're boys. But
Ozdemir would knock him out, too.
Yeah, you thought that with OSP, too.
Okay, if OSP and Latifi fight again...
Latifi. The proof's in the pudding, Cole.
No, 2
the
months.
The proof's in the pudding.
Who would you put your life on? Seriously.
My life, I would not. I barely bet a $30 parlay, let alone.
No, but I'm just saying, if you had to.
Ili Latifi.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No.
Ili Latifi.
I'm still going on OSP.
I'm rolling with the nice guy.
Even though OSP disappointed the hell out of me, I would still go with him.
Okay. That's up to you. You owe Ili Latifi an apology. You might not do it, but you know what? We all know how you truly feel.
Yeah, I'll apologize.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
listen,
I love this trend of you apologizing. First Curtis Blades, Ili Latifi. Little outlandish comments land you in hot water.
I mean, the Curtis Blades, don't even get me started on that. Like, Mark Hunt, what do you...
Okay. We're past that.
I'm not.
Yeah. Soon enough, you're going to be talking with Darren Till again.
Oh, Darren Till.
Okay.
No. Darren Till?
No.
He was talking about going and facing Cormier.
Oh.
And
that's worse than Ronda saying she could beat King.
He says that no one wants it in the middleweight, the welter, so he's looking at welter, middle and light heavy for a challenge.
Well, I do have to agree. A lot of veterans at the welterweight division need to step up and take on. Let's talk about this for a minute. Just a side note, but we'll make it quick. I'm looking at these UFC welterweight guys in the top 5, and I'm going,
take a fight.
Yeah,
take a fight.
No one wants Ponzinibbio right now. No one wants to even look at Kamaru Usman the wrong way,
or Darren Till,
and no one even wants to talk about Darren Till.
No, they don't want it.
But they don't want a title shot. I don't get it. This makes no sense to me. We got people clamoring about title fights. I mean, the only person really inside the top 5 right now, like Damian Maia. What's going on, bro? Wonder Boy. Nice guy. I love you. Take a fight.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now.
Is Lawler booked? Am I missing something? I don't think Lawler's booked.
Yeah, but no one wants Darren Till.
No one wants Usman either.
Usman, I think if you got a good ground game, you could. His stand-up's a little suspect. Like, it's not as polished.
Yeah, it's not as polished. Yeah.
But he's a tough go.
He smothers people. Anyways, that was just off topic.
I'm telling you right now, nobody wants Till.
No, my God.
Nobody wants him to. They saw what he did to Cerrone, and they're like, oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
No, I'm serious. Like,
I know, but you literally are the conductor of the hype train for Darren Till. You're telling people all aboard. Yeah, you're going everywhere. You're like, hop off. Hop on the Darren Till. You're shaking people's hands as they get on. You're the conductor.
Dude, the guy has legit takedown defense.
Okay.
He's long. He's lengthy. He hits like a Mack truck.
Okay, let's get back to
You're
Fox
talking
28.
about a legit striker. I mean, Donald Cerrone couldn't wipe the dirt off his shoes in that fight.
Okay.
And I like Donald.
Should we get back to UFC
I thought
Fox
about
28?
Donald in that fight. I was like, you know, hold on.
No.
Okay.
It's Cole. We under. You talk about this every podcast.
You give me Dan Till Woodley. I'm taking Till.
Anyways, back to UFC Fox 28. Jessica Andrade and Tisha Torres. I mean, Tisha Torres, I will give her credit. To start this round.
Listen, Darren.
Yeah.
Listen, Darren Till. He's like.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'm gonna send you a message in the morning going, Darren Till.
Yeah, text her. She's like, Darren Till. You see what Darren Till did? What? He took his dog out for a walk today. The guy's the next champ. Anyways, Tisha. Going back to Jessica Andrade, Tisha Torres. Tisha Torres was doing a good job in the first round of beating Andrade to the punch.
She was a lot faster.
She was a lot faster than Andrade. But you know what? Andrade had good fight IQ. She instead of just chasing in circles, she did a better job of cutting off Tisha Torres, because Tisha Torres would come, she would throw, and then she would circle out. And Jessica Andrade for a little bit was following in that circle, but then she realized she has to cut her off a bit, landed a few hooks when Tisha Torres was looking on that escape out, not standing in front of Andrade, so she landed a few good hooks. But man, I gotta say this. I know Andrade had a shot at Joanna. She's clearly the next woman up after the outcome of Rose Namajunas versus Joanna. I don't care if Joanna wins again. No trilogy. You gotta give Andrade a shot. She has the strength and the wrestling ability and the power that no other woman possesses in the strawweight division. I think that makes her scary. I think the only thing, yeah, we saw in the Joanna fight, she was just eating punches. She was a little slower, and I don't think Andrade just seems to get better every time we see her, right? From the Joanna fight, and then you saw the fight against Claudia. No one gave her a shot. She smothered Claudia, used that wrestling, really punished Claudia. Then she goes into Tisha Torres. She was able to deal with the kicks, able to deal with the speed, able to adjust her game, cut off those angles, and use the strength and smother people. There's no one that has the strength that she possesses, and she gets better every time she's in the octagon. In my opinion, Rose Namajunas and Joanna, yes, they have a big fight coming up against each other, but they got to keep their eye on Andrade, because she's a very dangerous woman, and she's going to be a lot better if she faces Joanna or Rose again coming next title shot.
If Andrade grapples, if she makes anyone in that strawweight women's division grapple with her or wrestle with her, they are screwed. They are screwed.
The only person that was able to do that is Joanna. No, Joanna got tossed in the air.
Hold on. But I don't even. But Joanna didn't even get into that kind of. Joanna's striking was, her movement and striking was so good. I don't think Andrade really got too many opportunities to go after it, and I don't think she went after it as hard as she should have went in that fight.
She did take down Joanna a lot, like single high crotch, takedown through the air. The problem was Joanna was just so fast of hitting the mat and bouncing back up right away that Jessica Andrade didn't really have a time to get in the side control, get in a half guard. She didn't have those opportunities. I think she might if she fights again. The problem is we don't know who she's versing. I think she matches up a little bit in the wrestling department with Rose rather than Joanna. That's just me.
I mean, like I said, if she grapples with either of those women, they got big problems.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so strong. Her wrestling's so good. She's obviously a little deficient in technical striking. She leaves herself open a lot. If she beat Torres was lightning quick, fast, moving, in the first round. Clearly in the second round, you saw that Torres could not keep up that speed, not keep up that pace. Because Andrade is one of those fighters who I'm going to hunt you for 3 to 5 rounds. You're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you, but I'm going to keep coming. And when fighters can't break a fighter, even though Tisha Torres was tapping her in the first. Like, hitting her. And when you can't stop her from coming forward, even after all that, kind of breaks you. Your cardio goes down a bit, and that's what you saw. I mean, if she can get a little more technical with her striking, as far as not even offensively, but just defensively, be able to avoid the straight strikes coming at you, because that's how you want to kind of got you. That's how Tisha did in the first. You can avoid those a little better and keep your pace. And no one can grapple with you. I'm serious.
Yeah.
She is so strong. I mean, Tisha Torres can grapple a bit. I mean, Joanna's takedown. I think that was the first time Joanna's been taken down. First time taken down? Maybe. Well, for sure that many times and that aggressively. Yeah, she's a problem. She is a huge problem, man.
Yeah, she's next in line for the title picture, but let's stick on the theme of next in line for the title picture. Because I'm going to make a case for Jeremy Stephens here to actually be able... He should get... Let's think about this. Yeah, you know what? He should be... Depending what happens in Frankie Ortega coming up this weekend, okay? He might be the next in line to face Max Holloway in a title fight.
After Frankie Ortega, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant by saying depending what happens on there, right? Because if one of them has dominant victory, it's a clear path. But I think even after, Jeremy Stephens coming in this fight number 8, okay? Josh Emmett was ranked number 4. He clearly is going to swap places and be within the top 5, okay? So people are ahead of him are Jose. Well, he's not getting a title shot at featherweight. Frankie Ortega. I think really after that, does Jeremy Stephens need another... We'll talk about the knee in a second. But does Jeremy Stephens really need...
No, he doesn't need another win.
I don't think so
but
either.
If you want to make a statement...
He goes out there and knocks out one more person.
You go after Jose Aldo.
Ooh, wow. I think that's
It's risky, but listen. You go in there and beat Jose Aldo, you're now like... Whoa.
Yeah.
You are like, there is no denying
no.
you. I mean, because let's be honest, Frankie Ortega's versing. They're the only two guys ahead of you, that are booked. Holloway is fighting the winner of that, and it's just Jose Aldo left. Mm-hmm. So you either sit and wait, but sitting waiting, you never know.
You never know nowadays. That could get you a title shot.
It could not. Yeah. Right. So. You don't know what Dana's saying to him. You need one more, or... Because let's be honest, Frankie Ortega is going down right now. Max Holloway fight will happen, I'm going to go July, August. So then the next time you fight, maybe December. So if you're Stephens, you're like, do I really want to settle till December? 10 months? And can I be honest? I think he beat Jose.
I think he beats Jose too.
I think he would. I think Jose would win technically, but I think if Stephens hit him good, he could knock him out.
I agree. Let's talk about the knee, because that's getting a lot of controversy. Team Alpha Male has come on and said, hey, that's a knee. We should look at it. Looking at the replay, my personal opinion is I think the one where he originally threw, it looked like it maybe grazed him, but the one on the way down looked like it hit him. I don't think it was enough to warrant overruling or whatever. It wasn't clear right to the temple where you're going, oh God, he clearly hit that knee. Even though watching the fight, I was like, oh crap, Jeremy Stephens, you're lucky you didn't hit that, because if so, we're looking at a disqualification or a no contest instead of a huge knockout victory for you. I will say this though, I don't think the knee, even if it did graze, I don't think it caused enough to really... that it was a factor in ending the fight.
Do you think it hit him on the way up? I don't think it touched him on the way up.
I think maybe it grazed him on the way up.
No, but if you watch the knee and look at his head, right? If he was to hit him, the head would kind of jolt back.
Yeah, it didn't.
And if you watch the progression of the knee is coming up like this.
Yeah.
If it were to hit something, you would see a slowing down. I don't think it hit it on the way up.
On the way down, it
did.
Yes.
But on the way down, Emmett's moving his head a bit.
Yes.
Stephens is moving a bit.
And the thing with that too is when you're throwing a knee, you're generating all your power on it coming up, the forward motion.
No one's ever been knocked out with a knee coming down.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And it wasn't like the knee was coming down, it was going back to the place.
Yeah,
where
it wasn't going 12-6,
yes,
right? Yeah. It was more.
And it grazed him coming back down.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like I was about to say, I don't think that knee, even though it connected on the way down, was enough to swing the way of it being Josh Emmett getting knocked out. Because you look at it, he got clipped. He was moving his head. Jeremy Stephens was throwing. And then all of a sudden, he kind of got back up a little bit. Jeremy Stephens, then he fell, caught him, fell down again. And then it was the diving punch forearm that actually knocked him out unconscious.
The whole knee thing's ridiculous.
You know what? I understand because it's a lot easier to accept a fighter of your team's defeat when he clearly gets knocked out by right hand and there's no controversy. You're like, hey, you got caught. But you know what? When it's a high-profile fight like that and you maybe think that something happened, your emotions get the best of you and you're trying to lobby for your guy not to take the loss, right? So I just chalk it up to Team Alpha Male. They're a family. They want to keep each other safe. But I don't think it's really much controversy there. I just thought... And big ups to Josh Emmett on this fight, man. When he knocked down Jeremy Stephens, I'm like, oh, man. He put Stephens on his ass.
He looked good.
He looked good in this fight. I think...
His speed and his movement, head movement, shoulder movement... the way he was getting in and out on Stephens was very good. I was actually very impressed.
Yeah, look,
up to the point he got knocked out.
But he fought a good fight. Not a lot of people can take Jeremy Stephens' best shot and walk away from it. Recently of late as well. But I was impressed with Josh Emmett's performance too. I think he'll get back in there as soon as possible to try to ride this hot streak he's on and main events whatnot. But I'm not disappointed by his performance at all. But I think Jeremy Stephens, man. If you want, go head hunting for Jose. If not, sit back, wait how this whole situation falls out with the 145 division. But overall, dude, I thought top to bottom, prelims. I sat through all the prelims. I sat through all the main card. Fight pass as well. I thought from top to bottom, UFC FOX28 was one of the best Fox cards we've seen in a while. I thought it was a phenomenal card, top to bottom.
Yeah, well, I think just looking at the main card and some of the top prelim fights, not boring. No boring fights,
nope.
Right? So when you have that, it's good. I mean, you could clearly see on this card before it went down, there was a lot of good depth to it. And you knew that the fights that were taking place, there was going to be some action. So
yeah, exactly. So I thought it was a good one, but let's stick on a little bit of news and rumors right now. Let's think about a little bit of news and rumors because it just so happened UFC President Dana White tweets out a photo of him and Brock Lesnar. Now, if you don't know the background, WWE Elimination Chamber was taking place at the T-Mobile Arena. Brock Lesnar, travels with WWE. There's Southern California has, some Monday Night Raw tonight. He's supposed to be there. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan. We are. We love wrestling. And yes, you can be a wrestling fan and an MMA fan. It is possible, people. But, a lot of rumors coming up. He doesn't know what to do with WWE. I think him and Dana White, I think that picture was Dana White teasing like, hey, he's coming back. It's just a matter of time. I literally think in that meeting, I think they negotiated contract. Brock said who he wants to fight, when he wants to fight, and how he's going to fight.
You think it was that depth?
Brock Lesnar is the only guy at that depth. Yeah, 100%. Brock Lesnar is I'll be honest. He's probably the only guy right now that can go into a sport like wrestling, a sport like UFC, and go, this is what I want, this is who I want, and this is when it's going to take place. And people go, yeah, okay. I mean, the man's the only person in history to be at the top of professional wrestling and say, hey, Vince, I'm going to go over and fight UFC. Dana, I'm going to still be with the WWE, but take a one-off fight. And, oh, by the way, both you guys that, are... always telling people what to do. This is what I'm doing, and both of you guys are going to have to like it and agree with it. I mean, that's what we did for 200.
I think he has enough drawing power where he can tell Vince, hey, I want to do these one because listen, he wants to be a full-time WWE entertainer, but he has the itch, right? Yeah. He's a guy that has the itch to go and fight in the UFC. He's just one of those guys. And I think he's not... He doesn't want to fight full time, but he wants to scratch that itch once in a while. And it seems like every international fight week,
rolls around. Brock Lesnar wants to be a part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he wants
100%.
to be a part of the big card. He likes the big paydays.
But I literally think he sat down with Dana White and he said, "I want on this card." And
Well, he probably said, "I want to fight again." Dana's like, what's Dana gonna say? No.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
He's not gonna be like,
let's
no,
do it. He's
earn your
probably like,
stripes.
I want to be on a big card, and Dana's like, I got the card for you. And then, I mean, they've always had a decent relationship.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it was. It was probably very lighthearted, I think. But I think it's just, when I want to fight. Okay, I want to fight on the July card. Okay, Dana's, yep. You want to fight? Yep. Okay, we're there. The contract, what does it look like? Probably something similar to what it's looked like in the past.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk opponents. He wants obviously a name if he comes back. Dana, we can do that. That's a big fight. Sure.
Let's talk about names for a second. I think if he comes back to this, it's not a one-off. He wants to come back and be champion.
I don't know.
I think he wants to come back and be champion.
That means you got to be full time.
I mean,
decently
who knows what's going on with WWE? I think he's come back to be full time because I think the 200 was, what if I came back once and what happens if I could compete one more time? I think he did that. Yeah, okay, he got popped. I know, but the UFC might do a good job of lifting up the rug, putting the dirt under the rug, and going, Brock Lesnar's back, and people will know, but they'll like to say, Brock, okay, you can come back and have a major fight in a co-main event or whatever it is. Now, looking at opponents, they won't give him Francis Ngannou, and I'll tell you why. Because wrestling, number one.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Yeah, I know. And
he would double leg Francis so fast.
And they don't forget, they want to keep Francis Ngannou kind of, okay, we'll give you a fight, you win again, learn, train. He's still a prospect. Yeah, he has a title, he's challenged for the title under his belt, I should say, but he's still a prospect in his own right. So I don't think they're going to give him Ngannou. Alistair Overeem already happened. Of course, that was Ubereem. They're not going to run that back.
He would get Overeem this time.
He would, 100%. I think
that's not the same.
I think the only fight to make, and I think that a fight both guys want, is Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar. I think they're going to run that back.
Fuck, that'd be so
They have history.
That'd be so sick.
Both guys are sick wrestlers. They have the history. Cain wants to get back in the title picture. Brock wants to get back in the title picture, and Brock probably wants to regain one of those one of his losses he suffered, I should say. I think that's the fight to make. And I think Cain will accept that fight gladly because I think Cain thinks he can win that fight on the feet, mostly like he did last time. I think that's the fight to make. And Cain wants to be on that card too, on the DC card, the International Fight Week that DC's on. And I think that fight's going to happen, bar none.
I think that's the favorite. I think that's, if you were going to bet money on a betting site right now, who's Brock Lesnar going to come back and verse, that would be my pick. Because let's look at the top 10. Is it going to be Stefan Struve? No. Volkov? No. Marcin? No. Lewis? No. Hunt? No. Blades?
No.
No, because he's not big. He's not a big enough name. Not because he's not talented enough. Kane? Yep. Fabricio? No, he's fighting. Alistair? Maybe.
No, I don't think we'll do Alistair again.
Well,
but that
you don't think Brock would want that? Hey, dude's not on quote unquote TRT, roids, whatever you want to call it anymore. Not as a powerful striker, not as strong. Could be an easy takedown, ground and pound day. Francis, they're not going to do because Francis is too good of a prospect, and yeah, he's just too good of a prospect, too marketable for the UFC at this point, and they're obviously not going to give him the championship fight because Stipe Miocic is versing Daniel Cormier on that card. Well, we're suspecting Brock's going to come back on that card. I think that's
a safe bet.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet too.
Yeah. So, but I would love to see.
I think Cain Velasquez is the front runner. Yeah, 100%.
I would agree with that.
I think it's him, and then I think it's Alistair, and then after that, I don't really know. I don't know what else you could do.
I don't know either.
I mean,
but I think that's a fight to make. I think people will be into it. I think it makes sense from a title picture perspective. I think it makes sense for both guys. Brock's been out for a year. I mean, both men, last time we seen them, were on the same card at 200.
That'd be an interesting fight.
I think that would be an interesting
Just because, okay, storyline is Cain beat him. Cain's coming back from a long layoff. So is Brock. Winner. probably gets the next title shot. Verdum might have something to say there. But here's my problem with Verdum. I just want to say this real quick. The fights you're taking, not top opponents, not guys who are like, I mean.
Yeah, but the thing with Verdum too, dude, is you look at this and you go, okay, Alistair Overeem, he already fought that. That was not an entertaining fight, one. Number two, just because of the style perspective. Number two, he lost that fight. Okay, Cain Velasquez, you took that fight, you won. They could run that back. Curtis Blades, I mean, there's no one really. You don't want Francis Ngannou. That's a dangerous fight for you, for a lot of people. I mean, I don't mind take the Volkov fight because I really think Volkov is a prospect coming up as well in its own right. So I don't mind that.
But I'm not saying as far as like who could beat him or who could challenge him. I'm going as far as like if you want to be the next number one contender for sure. There's no disputing. You got to go higher up into the ranks. You need a bigger fight, if you know what I mean.
And you know what? I
know it's hard because it's like, okay, well, you got to versus Ngannou or Overeem, basically, then.
That's literally why I think they did DC Stipe. Is you look at everyone inside.
Would you like Ngannou Verdum?
I don't know if Verdum wants to take that.
Yeah, that's a tough. Now, Verdum doesn't have the wrestling to control Francis. Now that's a fight Francis can win.
But the thing is,
100%.
if Verdum does get Francis down,
how?
He has good trips from the clinch. He does. He's not going to double leg you. But
but the double legs is Francis' weakness. It's not the clinch.
That's true because Francis is very powerful. It's the
Look at the Alistair. Alistair clinched him.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So
it's interesting. But I think that's why they did Stipe and DC for International Fight Week. It's going to be interesting, but back on the point, Brock Kane, I think that is the fight to make, bar none. I think it's going to go now International Fight Week, and I think it's going to. I'm into that fight. I don't know about you, but I'm 100% into that fight. Let's top on news quickly. Amanda Nunes, we heard the inklings of her versus Cyborg, but of course Cyborg's on this card coming up this week in UFC 222. She got booked versus Raquel Pennington. Now, a lot of people I saw on Twitter and stuff are going, really, Raquel Pennington deserves that shot? And I go, look, you got Amanda Nunes holding the belt right now. You got Valentina Shevchenko. She looks like she's a flyweight. I don't really picture her in the bantamweight picture anymore because she's lost.
She's hunting for the title.
And she's already lost to Amanda twice. Then you got Holly Holm versus Amanda Nunes, but I don't know if you can. Holly Holm, I guess so, but she's not coming off a lot of wins, Beth Correia, but she hasn't put the wins together, I think, to warrant the opportunity at the title. And then you got Juliana Pena, of course. She, is too busy being a mother right now. She's not focusing on MMA. She's worrying about her family, which is good. And then you got Raquel Pennington at 4. So for those people that are saying this makes no sense, this and that, it's the only fight right now I think that makes sense within the top 5.
Okay, listen. It makes sense as far as if you're staying in that division, fight Raquel. She's the next fighter up. But I'm disappointed that Amanda Cyborg wasn't made.
But you know why? UFC 222 didn't have a main event. And the UFC stuck on this thing where every pay-per-view needs to be a title. Hell, why do you think we have so many damn interim champs in 2017?
Here's the problem. You missed out on that big fight.
I agree.
And not only did you not do the big fight, the two champions are versing two fighters who, I don't want to say don't have a shot, but have not been in that realm of number one contender championship level. Okay, so the girl Cyborg's fighting, she's a champion Invicta, but let's be honest, how good would she do in the top 5 of that division? I don't know. Right? She's coming up a weight versus one of the greatest the fighters of all time. Okay. It's going to be a tough night. Raquel Pennington, same thing. Amanda Nunes is so dominant at her division. They're both the next people up. I agree, but I disagree that they should be fighting separate. Cyborg, Amanda Nunes could be the legit baddest woman on planet Earth type fight.
I think that's the fight.
And you missed out on that.
I think that's the fight that happened. Amanda defends, Cyborg defends. I think.
But you had that right now.
I understand, but they had to do something about the UFC's. Like I just said, they're stuck on title fights.
But couldn't you? Yeah.
So they went. Who's available to fight on UFC 222?
My thing is, you should have just bit the bullet here, found something, maybe take an L for taking the dub later, the big dub. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying,
but I do agree that Raquel is the next girl up if Amanda stays in that division.
Yeah, 100%. Sticking on bantamweight women's fights, let's get to UFC 222 here. Opening fight, Vieira versus Ngannou.
That's be a mismatch.
What? Okay, let's try this again. Vieira versus Cat Zingano.
Yeah. Not Zingano.
Yeah.
Zingano.
There we go. They're like Dragon Ball Z when they fuse each other.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great fight.
You didn't get that joke?
What's that?
I said just like Dragon Ball Z, they fuse each other. Remember that? Remember Dragon Ball Z? People used to fuse.
Fuse?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, are you serious? Remember, like, they used to go and they used to put the fingertips together, and all of a sudden they would like fuse together and become one person? Dragon Ball Z! We used to watch all the time.
I'd have to re-up on that one.
Anyways, okay, let's talk about this fight. Now I'm struggling with that. I'm just going to call her Cat.
Cat Zingano.
I'm in my own head today.
Zingano.
My gosh. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about Darren Till.
Actually.
Yeah. I was like, actually, now that you brought it up.
I wouldn't mind talking about it.
Going back, so this is a big fight because Cat's number 7, Vieira's number 6. You know, both women have 9 wins on the record. Vieira is undefeated. Who you got in this fight, man? Because Cat Zingano is a tough competitor. She's coming off 2 losses, though. Of course, one was the title fight with Ronda Rousey. The other one was against Juliana Pena, who I think is when she gets back, she's going to be a high prospect. And Vieira's coming off the arm triangle victory from UFC 215 against Sarah McMahon. So this is an interesting fight to me. Both Cat Zingano is a very strong wrestler, a very strong grappler. But at times she has been exposed in that area too. Juliana Pena did that to her. Ronda Rousey did that to her. You know, and then you got Vieira who, you know, can submit people on the ground. Both of them have very good ground games. This to me, I think, might be the hardest fight to pick on the main card. And I'm being serious about that. I got Cat Zingano. There you go, Jay. Zingano. I got her 29-28 split decision. I think this is going to be a very close fight. I think Vieira is going to try. I think Cat Zingano is going to try to get the clinch from the takedown. I think it's going to be a battle of scrambles, lots of scrambles, and I think Cat Zingano might just edge this one out by a little bit. I think she might have just a tad little better striking, in my personal opinion. Yeah, that being said, you know, don't sleep on either of these women striking or grappling, but I got Cat Zingano 29-28 split decision.
Oh, man. I think Vieira is dangerous. She's a very dangerous fighter. She's undefeated. She causes a multiple of problems for Cat Zingano.
I would have to agree with that, too.
Now, I believe Cat... How does she come back? Does she look like that person that was coming back against a win against Miesha Tate? Is she that? Does she have that same hunger? That, like, when she fought Ronda the first time, I said, man, Ronda's got some issues.
Yeah.
Kat is so well-rounded. And at that time in her career, she could do everything very well. She was aggressive. She was a mauler. Man, this is a tough fight to pick. My pick really relies on, do I think Zingano comes back in her prime? You see that prime fighter who, how long has she been off?
Cat Zingano, her last fight against Juliana Pena was at the event we were just talking about with the heavyweights, UFC 200 in July 9th, 2016. So it's been a while, over a year.
Man, yeah.
Year and tad.
Oh, year and a tad. I'm going to go Cat 29-28.
Split decision, unanimous. Are you agreeing with me? Or are you saying unanimous?
I'm going to go unanimous.
Unanimous decision?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you there. I think it's going to be a really tough fight. I think, you know, it can go either way. I think this is going to be a competitive fight. I think it's going to be a lot of rounds where you go, man, who do you score that for? And I think this could be ending up a really interesting scramble grappling match. It'll be interesting to see who gets the better of what. Candice Ngannou a couple times, she's a very strong grappler and she's won like that, but there's also been times where all of a sudden she's lost like that and she's been exposed with some sweeps and stuff like the Juliana Pena fight. But either way, I think this is a very good fight. Let's move on to the heavyweights, man, because this was supposed to be the co-main event originally when Max Holloway was on the card. And it got, bumped down the card a little bit. But Stefan Struve versus Andrei Arlovski, this is a very interesting fight. When you look at it from Stefan Struve, in his last 3 fights, he's 2-1. He's coming off the loss to Alexander Volkov, who fights, for Doom. And then you got Andrei Arlovski, who had 5 losses in a row. And then versus Albany last fall, got back on the winning track, looked pretty good, and here we are. Who do you have winning this fight? Because this is very interesting, because I don't see a knockout happening in this fight. I really don't. I see this going probably to decision, and I think it's going to be a 29-28 situation. Look, Andrei Arlovski, he has the speed. I think he's a little bit more athletic. I think he likes to throw the first punch as well. He utilizes the jab pretty good. The only problem with him is, the chin's a little weak. But Stefan Struve, he's big, he's tall. But Stefan Struve's not known for, he doesn't have Ngannou Stipe power. I think the only problem lies with Andrei Arlovski is how does he able to generate the offense in such a tall man like Struve? Can he get inside? Can he land the right hand like he likes the looping right hand like he likes to throw all the time? And Stefan Struve's point on the other way, I go, Stefan Struve, you know what? He doesn't really... He's the tallest man in the UFC. But somehow he just can't get together using that reach properly. I think this is going to be... I hate him because I love both these guys. I'm a big fan of both these guys. You know what? Even when people trash on them, I like to... I always like to have their backs. And you know that from me in the past. Andrei Arlovski, Stefan Struve. Always liked them. The only problem with this is I think it's going to be a little bit of a lackluster fight. And I got Stefan Struve just edging this out because I can't see Andrei Arlovski really generating that much offense in this fight. So I got Stefan Struve 29-28 unanimous decision.
I got the same prediction, but I think you hit it on the head with how this fight, how each guy can win, how this fight's going to kind of go lackluster. I'll tell you this. My prediction is Stefan Struve 29-28, but I'll tell you this. Who shows up? That's who's going to win this fight. You've seen Andre show up in the UFC and have great fights.
Travis Brown was one.
You've seen Stefan Struve show up and have decent fights where he's using his jab and everything's going well. You've also seen both guys completely just not show up and just look bad, to be honest. Yep. So, who shows up? My winner is the guy who shows up. The guy that can win... the late third round, because this fight is going to be close. Who do I personally think has more advantages to take control of and to use in this fight? Stefan Struve, 100%. But will he show up? Will he show up? Will he have the killer instinct? I mean, man, it's just so hard to predict because I'm like, man, they both can come out and play at times. But who wins? Who shows up? The winner comes down to... I will know who's going to win this fight in the first 2 minutes.
I think so.
Because I'm going to go, that guy wants to fight. He's doing great things. That guy's not. Now, what if they both show up? Okay. Then you might have actually a legit, decent heavyweight fight on your hands.
Because you know what? People were talking about this when the whole Travis Brown Arlovski, they were like, well, who's going to bounce back? Both guys are a little... They're talking about this, and it was one of the greatest fights we've seen in the octagon. So, I mean... Yeah, I just think Andrei Arlovski, like I said, fan of both these guys, following for a long time. I just think he's in his recent fight he hasn't had that killer instincts like the Travis Brown fight. Marcin, he lost a decision because I don't think he was aggressive enough. You look at Stefan Struve, he's not aggressive either, but I think he'll just do enough to get the dub. It's a tough fight.
Do you agree he has more advantages to use?
I think the one advantage is he has a longer reach, so I don't really see Andre Arlovski getting within.
But he hasn't used it effectively. He has at fights, and who shows up?
I think I've recently, and this is why I go that way, is he had the knockout of Antonio Silva, and he got the Darkstroke 2 fights out. Even though against Volkov he got knocked out, he shows more flashes to finish the fight, and that's why I'm going with him. Even though I have decision, but
Andre is a good aggressor though when he wants to be.
That's true. It's a big fight, man, because Andre Arlovski is ranked number 12. Stefan Struve's ranked number 10. I think the person that
wins gets back into the top 10 mix.
Yeah,
the person that loses.
But here's
they're on the bubble, man. They're on the bubble.
Here's the thing, Andre Arlovski. Stefan Struve can afford not that anybody wants to lose.
No one can. I think.
Well, think about it like this: Stefan Struve, even if he loses, you can make the case. Hey, in my last 4 fights, I'm 2-2. You go Andre Arlovski. You go, hey Andre, how's this going? Well, I lost 5 in a row. I beat Albany, who's he's not in the top 15, and then all of a sudden
he should have KO'd him.
I agree with that.
Now there's a fight. I felt like he had so many advantages in that fight, but I felt like he just didn't show up, and I thought, I'm like, man, that like he won the fight, but I thought, man, you could have been more aggressive. You have more skill to show than this guy, and you just didn't show it.
Yeah, I have to agree, but that's going to be it could be an entertaining fight. It can. Let's move on to the co-main event, man. And let's talk Frankie Edgar, Brian Ortega. Because we talked about this when this fight got announced. And like I said, I was lobbying for that fight.
You called this fight, actually.
Yeah, I did.
Because Frankie didn't have an opponent, and you said Ortega. Ortega's the guy.
If you don't believe us, people, Twitter, go Instagram. Actually, I posted a picture, and I said, this is the fight to make.
I'll give you your props.
Yeah, Twitter, Overhand Right Radio. Instagram, Overhand Right Radio. Facebook, Overhand Right Radio. Go check it out. Because I said when Holloway pulled out, I said, I thought this was an easy fight to make. I looked down the featherweight rankings, and I went, Stevens booked. Jose, we don't know what to do. Brian Ortega's off a big win off Cobb. That's an easy fight to make. And I think this is a very winnable fight for Brian Ortega, Cole. Because I tell you why.
Oh, he's the favorite in my books.
I would... Favorite, really?
The favorite. And do you want to go first or me?
Okay. These are things I think possess. I think Frankie Edgar... we all know what Frankie Edgar does. Rushes in with combos. Throws great combos. Very good at circling out. Very hard to hit Frankie Edgar. The only person that really had success would be Jose Aldo with those leg kicks as well. But here's the thing with Brian Ortega. I think he utilizes... You look at this and the reach isn't that... It's not a significant difference, but I think he fights longer than Frankie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He also... excuse me, by the way. He also uses kicks up the middle that might keep a little distance between him and Frankie Edgar. And not only that, Frankie Edgar likes to mix up takedowns with wrestling. But the one problem with that in this fight is Brian Ortega's the most legit jiu-jitsu guy in 145 and maybe in the UFC right now.
He's one of those guys. Remember we talked about there's a lot of black belts in the UFC. There's only a few black belts.
Yeah.
When we say that, we mean guys who take jiu-jitsu to the next level. And where they catch guys that other black belts wouldn't even dream about catching a guy with.
And the thing with Brian...
Brian Ortega, not to cut you off, I'm just hyped. Yeah. He submitted. I wasn't a big Brian Ortega guy first on. That last fight really opened my eyes.
Yep.
Because to me, he submitted Cub twice.
Because Cub, I know what you're saying.
I mean, if there was 10 seconds in that first round, Cub goes out or he taps. Then in the second round, he gets him in the same thing, and Cub actually taps.
Yeah,
that impressed the crap out of me. I went, whoa, this guy's jiu-jitsu is legit.
The one thing I will say is Brian Ortega hasn't versed the wrestler on the platform that Frankie Edgar possesses. You look down, Cub doesn't really possess that.
I would agree.
Clay Guida, Diego Brown down. This is the toughest test for Brian Ortega by far. But I don't think he's not prepared for this.
But Edgar's one strength is his ground and pound. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But now every time you shoot on Ortega or get into a grappling situation on Ortega, you run the risk.
Well,
and that's the dangerous game. Now you say, okay, Frankie goes, okay, I'm not going to really go into that. Do I strike with the longer striker? Ortega can brawl. He's powerful. He's pretty technical. Wow.
And here's the thing, I was just talking about how Ortega hasn't versed anybody with the wrestling of Frankie. You look at Frankie and you go, Yair didn't possess that when he beat Yair. Jeremy Stevens didn't possess that. Chad Mendes, Uriah Faber, Cub Swanson. Really the only person that he's beat that has possessed the jiu-jitsu on the level of Brian Ortega is BJ Penn. But the problem was in those fights, he didn't even need to go to the ground. He did land a takedown a couple times, but that was late in the rounds after he pieced up BJ Penn on the feet for a while, so that wasn't the freshest BJ Penn. Yeah. But just from a jiu-jitsu kind of seeing what caliber he's versed on. But it's going to be very interesting. If this goes to the ground, I'm going, ooh, what happens? Is Frankie able to posture up and land big punches?
Dude, Ortega might take him down.
I don't think Ortega has...
Why not?
When it comes to a double leg takedown, I think Frankie will be able to defend that.
Let's say Ortega gets a trip.
He has good trips from the clinch.
If he gets on top of Frankie is screwed.
I actually think Brian Ortega should actually use, like I said, when it comes to size, weight, he's not that, you look at the height, inches, feet, whatever it is, and he's not that much bigger than him, but he fights longer. He's a big physical, imposing guy for 145. And if he can somehow maybe clinch with Frankie, wear Frankie down a little bit, take that little pep off the step. Because I think Frankie's going to be the faster fighter in this fight, but I think Ortega has, he fights very long, throws, kicks up the middle to create the distance. Like I said, I think this is a very interesting and winnable fight for him.
Ortega's got the cardio, too, to go with him.
He can go for days. And it's only a 3-round fight.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Right? So it's not a 5-round fight. It's a 3-round fight. So both these guys are going to have cardios for days.
I got Ortega by sub in the third.
By sub? Wow.
I think he has Frankie.
Really? That's interesting when we're talking about how this fight will end, because I go, man, both guys are hard to finish.
I don't see a way I don't see a position, a way, a technique where Frankie can go to as his last resort if nothing does well, and it's going to work again and again and again.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like there's no comfortable position Frankie can go to. He's versed a lot of guys in the past, whether it be on the feet or by takedown, ground and pound, where he could go to the well to. Yeah,
he was a good thing of that, because he was taking Yair down, and you knew he could ground and pound Yair without having a huge threat of any repercussions.
Oh, there was no threat.
But that's interesting when you talk about Ortega's jiu-jitsu. Now you're talking about Ortega going in that position. Very dangerous off his back, but Frankie does have good ground and pound. This is a very intriguing fight.
But here's the thing for Frankie. What I mean by uncomfortable is if he strikes with him, it's going to be close. If we clinched to him, Club tried that twice. Look what happened. Okay, and every time I want to take a takedown to get the ground and pound, I risk getting subbed. Brian Ortega, to me, has that same risk factor as when guys take down Fabricio. You know what I mean? You just don't want to play there. Now, I think Ortega is better than Fabricio because I think he has better stand-up. I think he fights longer. He can avoid the punches better. And I think he's just the new breed. I think... I go Ortega by 7 1/3. I'm going with that. If not, it's going to be 28-28 Ortega. Or 29-20.
I'm actually gonna go Ortega 29-28.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
That would be my second go.
Yeah. But you're going submission in the second round. Yeah, I think this is a very intriguing fight. I was trying to sit back, do my homework, study, and really think about how each man can win this fight. And I think it's going to be very intriguing. If it goes to the ground, I'm going to go, oh man, this can be dangerous for both guys, and this could be successful for both guys. So we'll see how that plays out. But let's move on to the main event. And you know what, man? I think our prediction is going to be the same. I think we got Chris Cyborg. I think it's going to be Chris Cyborg coming up, just because
I am never picking against Chris Cyborg.
Yeah.
For the next 2 years, I'm not picking against Cyborg.
Look, Chris Cyborg, no one's going to take her down. She's strong, she's powerful. No one can. She has very legit takedown defense, and she's great on the ground. You look at when you come to the striking, I don't want to, badmouth anybody. I don't like doing that. That's not what I'm here for. But Yana, she's 9-3. She lost to Tanya Evinger. It just makes me, and we saw what Chris did to Tanya Evinger. Not that MMA math mix-up, calculates to a recipe of success. But I just think Chris Cyborg's on a level right now that we haven't seen her before. And I'll say it like this. Chris Cyborg before used to bite down the mouthpiece, and she used to wilt you within the first round or whatever it is, just by power.
She might do it against her.
She might. But the one thing she did really good against Tanya Evinger, she could have finished that fight before, but the patience of her, and she's been preaching this her last couple fights, the patience that she has in her last fights, where she doesn't rush in for the knockout, she just waits for it to come to her. She didn't get into Holly Holm, but she was patient. She saw everything that was coming. Her defense was phenomenal against Holly Holm. That not a lot of people get pieced up by Holly Holm, but her defense was incredible. You know, Tanya Evinger, she could have finished her early, but she was patient, didn't risk herself at all. And this is why she's able to bounce back. You know, she had a fight just at the end of the year, 2016. She's ready to bounce back, you know, less than 2 months later. Is because she's so good with her defense, and the patience allows her not to get pieced up, not to get hit, not to get hurt. She doesn't even get in a compromising position. I think Chris Cyborg's at another level right now. I got it probably first round TKO later in the first round, but I think it's going to be another Chris Cyborg victory, and we're just going to look and say, who's next? But you know what? I will give Chris Cyborg and Yana credit for stepping up when the UFC needed them. You know what? Yana stepping up. She knows what standing in front of her and Chris Cyborg, but she's stepping up. She's looking for the challenge.
It's a win-win.
And she's brave, and I respect that.
Well, it's a win-win for Yana. She's probably got a little better payday too. And if you lose, okay, you lost to Cyborg. If you win, whoa, you're the hottest female in MMA instantly. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Listen, Yana is a world champion in Invitica. She's legit in her swimming pool. Now, would she come over to the UFC and beat a lot of bantamweights? Yes. I believe she would. I believe she'd do decent.
She does have the knockouts on her resume. I mean, she has 7. Yeah, those weren't in Invitica or anything like that.
So
they're overseas, but
yeah,
you know.
So my comments, I say that because I don't want to diss her or seem like I'm putting her down. I'm really not putting her down. I'm really just saying Cyborg's just that damn good, right? I think she'll last a round. I do. I think she's tough enough and she's good enough not to get completely caught in the first round. I think it'll be a TKO in the second round. I think Cyborg in the second round will just be able to evaluate her and find the shot that she's looking for. But I think Yana is good enough and will be prepared enough as a world champion. Don't forget, she's coming over to the UFC, going up a weight class and fighting the baddest woman in the world. Okay? That's 3 levels to, like, that's a 3-level jump here. And she's doing it in one fight.
Yep.
Let me say this. If Amanda Nunes was fighting Cyborg, I'd be picking Cyborg. And I don't think it would be that close, by the way. I'm not going to go crazy into it, but that's how I feel about Cyborg. So when I say she's surviving a round, I think, half decent about her. There's not a lot of people I'd pick to last a round against Cyborg. Seriously. But no, Cyborg wins this. I don't think she takes much damage. I think she wins this in a fashion where she could probably fight on the July 7th card. When is Amanda fighting?
Amanda's fighting at UFC 224. I believe that's in May.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Late
for July.
May 24th, if I'm not mistaken. Something around there, they can't do the July. So
unless
May 12th.
Unless Amanda steps right back up.
That's a good card, actually. Just not to interrupt, but UFC 224, you got Amanda Nunes.
Is that Brazil?
Yep, Rio.
Yes.
That's Raquel Pennington, Amanda Nunes, Vitor, Light Odo, Jacare Souza, Kelvin Gastelum. Pretty good card, man. I want to say it.
And they still have a main. Ooh, I think I know who's going to be the main event.
The main or the co?
I think I know who's going to be the main.
Who?
Anderson Silva.
On the pay-per-view?
Yes.
Anderson Silva's going to main event over the title fight. The UFC doesn't do that.
Sorry, not main event, but I think he's going to be on that card. I think he might be.
The co-main event, you mean?
The co-or on that card.
Okay, good. I was about to say, I was like, UFC always puts
the
title first.
Title, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I meant.
I'm messing up today. You're messing up today. Okay. That's that, man. I really think Brian Ortega and Frankie Edgar is going to be fight of the night. What about you?
Oh yeah, I mean the Cyborg one. Well, I mean we'll give you a decent finish, but it's kind of I'm not going to say predictable, but sort of. I mean, it's a huge disadvantage to Yana to go fight Cyborg, moving up 3 levels like that. The Andre Stefan, it's interesting, but it could be very lackluster. If you're buying this pay-per-view, you're buying to see Frankie Brandon take it, because that is an interesting, good fight.
You know what?
I actually think that's probably that from a standpoint of how good the fights are going to be. That should be the main event. But Cyborg's got the title. Not to say Cyborg isn't a great headliner. It's just the girl she's fighting against.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And the undercard, once again, Ashley Yoder, Mackenzie Dern.
Ooh, Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
First fight in the UFC. BJJ, legit black belt. Some people are calling her the next Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. And she's
lot of hype.
She's got the medal, World Cups, whatever it is to her name in wrestling and jiu-jitsu and loads of her. Also on the undercard, John Dodson, Pedro. Pedro.
Yeah, that was the one that fell out from
something like that, a couple cards ago.
219. Yeah, maybe. So it was rebooked for you.
Yep.
Good fight.
CB Dalloway, Hector Lombard opening up the prelims. That's a very interesting fight. Mike Pyle is a retirement fight after UFC 222. I don't know if you're
I didn't know
that.
Yeah, no.
So he's going to hang him up after this.
Is he on the Fight Pass?
Yeah, he's headlining the Fight Pass. Brian Caroy bounces back and looks for another win. And yeah, top to bottom, I think this is a really good card. The UFC did what it needed to do. Respect for everybody who stepped up on short notice. Frankie,
you know what?
Chris Cyborg, Yana.
Not
big
bad
ups.
considering
2 months ago they're going.
Dude, 2 months. Hell, 4 weeks ago.
People were thinking about turning this to a free event on TV.
Dude, they were talking about canceling it.
Well, thank God they didn't. Coming up next week, Fabricio Verdum, Alexander Volkov card that goes down in London, England. So that's going to be a very, very good one. But that was episode 34, man. In the books. Enjoy the fights this week, and you already know the drill. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Overhand Right Radio. Twitter is actually Overhand R, because my tag can't be that long, but Overhand R for Twitter. The rest, Overhand Right Radio. Check us out, iTunes, SoundCloud. Everything you need to listen to podcasts on will be there. Make sure you hit the like and follow button with an Overhand Right, and we'll check you out next time. Enjoy the fights.